days. I think I support that. I think 3 days is a light sentence for alcohol use. And
I think the thing you have to keep in mind, I support it too, by the way, is that a 3-day suspension, because of the schedule John has, at least for some of the students' classes, he's only missing one day.
One class, right.
But by doubling it, he's out 3 days, three full days of each class.
Right.
And because the classes only meet every other day, they only meet 90 days, double period. If I'm taking 3 away, that's a pretty good chunk of academics. So I think it makes sense to go from 3 to 6 days, frankly.
Well, you're ready to entertain a
I'll have a motion to approve the handbook with changes as recommended by Mr. Bernard.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Arquette, second by Mr. Bowers. Any further discussion? Sherry, have anything to say? No further discussion?
He's coming.
He's coming. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
John.
Good work with
if
this.
if it's felt that my presence here on the 28th is important, I can probably make an adjustment tonight.
I'll let you know. Well, I'll Dr. Mann will let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Thank you. Good
Thanks,
night.
John.
Thank you.
Okay, back to our regular scheduled agenda.
Scheduled agenda.
The budget, I think Dr. Manville has, he's filled us in on some of this, but there's a few, same money, but a few changes in how the money is going to be spent on the budget. And then we have to vote on an increase, or approve an increase in the athletic department position. I think we have to approve that.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
That's a change
Okay.
in FTEs. Basically, the town has approved the budget, and you know that, and we certainly appreciate all the work done by the Board of Selectmen and FinCom, and I appreciate all the work done by the school committee to get it done. I just wanted to let you know that we've been talking about a level service budget right along, but if you were to look at our final staffing FTEs, there are increases. And there are 2 FTE teachers in special education. We've gone up. One is being funded by, it's a 10th grade teacher at the high school, and I would not approve the posting until I knew that we were going to bring a student that was in the out-of-district line item back. And so by putting this program in, Ms. Andrew has in fact got a commitment, and educational plan has been written to take a student from Landmark and bring it back to North Reading, and you take the tuition and the transportation costs, that's the cost of the teacher. So it's a line item transfer from out-of-district tuition and transportation into salary. Okay. The other one is another SPED teacher that's going to be at the Batchelder School in grades 3, 4, and 5. This is the teacher that is being funded by the reduction of 4 paraprofessionals in their line item, and those 4 individuals, one is retiring, 2 are they're certified teachers and they're going to join the teaching ranks, and the 4th one is going to be reassigned. So it's going to work out.
So it's a reduction of 4 positions, we're not
right.
cutting 4 people and putting them out of the street.
That's exactly right. Thank you. So it's a reduction of 4 positions, but we're not letting anybody go. There's no reduction of force from our point of view.
Understood.
So if you take the salaries of those 4 paraprofessionals, that's where that salary is coming from. There's also and we've talked about this before, but there's going to be an additional full-day kindergarten teacher. And that's going to be funded also out of those 4 paraprofessionals, and the difference is going to be made up in tuition for full-day kindergarten. This will result in 3 full-day kindergarten classes at Batchelder, 1 at Hood, and 1 at the little school. Everybody who wants full-day kindergarten can get it. People are going to have to move, obviously. They won't be all in their home district.
Now, we had parents in 6 weeks ago talking about what they felt was excessive class size in the Hood kindergarten. Is that?
I was going to bring that up.
Okay.
Actually, thank you for that. It's not in here, but I had a discussion with Mr. McKay this afternoon about that. And yes, right now there are 24 his enrollment for his half-day kindergarten is 24. And you had parents in here who said that they wanted to get an aide
Right.
in there, and I think that's probably a good idea. I actually was talking with Kathleen Willis this afternoon. We might also want to think about, rather than an aide, is seeing what the cost of the aide would be versus the cost of taking the kindergarten teacher who works half-time at Hood and making it full-time and just have 2 sections. It would be more expensive to do the teacher. I'm not going to kid you. And I don't know what the benefit package would be, but the salary, the actual salary impact would be more in the school department to increase the teacher. But yeah, it's not in here.
But that's under discussion?
Yes.
Okay. And if we did that, then Mr. Nelson and you and the new superintendent would have to find the money to fund
Yes.
it if we were to make that teacher
Yeah,
full-time.
and we'd have to find the money to hire the aide too.
Right, okay.
But we'd have to figure that out, and if you want, I can meet with Carl and also with Kathleen, and we can sit down and figure out what the actual cost would be, and I'll have it for you next meeting.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Thanks.
And then finally, so basically all those changes are all included in the budget figure.
They net out in the budget figure that we have now.
Yeah,
Okay.
but if somebody were to say to you, wait a minute, you've got one more kindergarten teacher than you had, well, yeah, you're right, but it works.
Right.
The thing that I actually brought up at the meeting we had right before town meeting is, you wanted me to put in the packet, is the clerk in the athletic department. She's a .6 FTE. She really is a minimum a .8 FTE, and I included a list of the responsibilities that she's picked up actually since she went to work there. And although Ms. Venezia isn't here, I did talk to her about putting the location of the games on every day.
Okay.
So when you call in, it will say, good morning, it's June 15th, we've got a soccer game here and a football game there, and
That's
that kind of
great.
thing. And she said that would not be any problem at all.
Good.
So basically what we're talking about here is going from a .6 to a .8. It's about $7,000 to do that, and you're paying her for the work she's already doing.
Can this be covered by fees, Carl, either revolving account or?
We hope so. We don't know how many user fees we'll have next year.
Right,
yet,
right.
But the trends are that user fees have been increasing a little bit every year. The enrollment, of course, is really shifting now from elementary to middle to high school.
Right.
And I can endorse this not only based on the logic of it, but financially, I don't think it's going to be problematic, because if it's not all fees, then there are other places in the budget can be found.
I just think that the amount of work she does and has picked up since she took on the position is significant, and I think going from .6 to .8 is a fair
More
thing
than
to do
fair.
right now.
It's more than fair.
She, especially, just think of all the fees that she's responsible for collecting, and she also is responsible for the website where the requests are made for use of the gyms, and that's a lot of work. We've all been involved, well, many of us have been involved in that in the past, and that's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
So I don't, if anybody has any questions on that, but I don't have any problems with
No.
moving her from .6 to .8. So if I could have a motion to move the athletic department secretary position to .8 position. So motion from Mr. Bowers. Second. Second by Mr. Kushakji. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous.
Thank
Mike,
you.
did we say your last name?
Kushakji. I've been
Oh.
practicing. And for the first few weeks, I was having a hard time, but I've got it now.
Yeah.
I've got it.
Learning.
My
Yes.
question on number 2, the paraprofessionals,
Yep.
where were they located, and what school systems were they located?
They were at the elementary level, and I think one, for the most part, they were servicing specific kids.
Oh, they were?
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't like a group reading or a
Oh,
group
no,
math
no,
or
no, no,
anything?
nothing like that. And the ed plans have changed, and the programs have changed, so that the specific need isn't there anymore.
Okay.
Next item is very exciting. We have a new PPS director to vote on tonight.
Yes, and you're right, it's very exciting. both Kathleen and I are pleased to announce that our new Director of Pupil Personnel Services is Ms. Patricia Bullard, who is currently the Coordinator of Special Services for the Peabody Public Schools. I put a copy of her appointment letter in the packet and also her resume. I spoke with the superintendent of Peabody, who's really a very good friend of mine, and I felt awful, you know, to a certain extent, and then I just said, "No, I'm taking her." He could not have been higher in his praise of the work she's done. And so she's on board. You can see in the appointment letter, it's sort of a iffy start date. As you know, Ms. Danger's not leaving until September 1st. We're trying to arrange so that Ms. Bullard will be on board on August 23rd, frankly at the latest. Her contract in Peabody says it's a 120-day notification that she has to give to Peabody before they can't hold her anymore. That's one of the reasons that I had her sign right away so then she could resign from Peabody. The superintendent in Peabody said that he would work with us to get her here as quickly as possible. Obviously, she has to be here on September 1st. So this was a very extensive process. We had several dozen applications. The screening committee went through them all. The screening committee was made up of teachers, specialists. We had a parent on board until she had to leave, but it was a very extensive committee, and they interviewed the semifinalists. They picked 3 finalists. The superintendent-elect and I met with all 3 finalists. They came and they spent time in the district. We had finalist interviews, and Patricia just rose to the top. So I would like to recommend that the committee by law has to vote to approve the appointment or endorse the appointment. You also by law cannot withhold your approval on a whim.
Right.
You know, I mean, if you have a reason to, you can, but you can't just say you wore that sport coat last time, Manville, and you can't.
Okay, then I'm happy to make a motion to approve the appointment of Patricia Bullard as Pupil Personnel Services Director.
Second.
Further discussion, I just want to say her resume is very impressive. She's got great experience, and she's coming from a much bigger school district, and that always makes me feel comfortable with someone with that experience in a large school district can then apply it to our smaller district. I think she's going to be great here. So, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you. And before I get off the PPS director search, just so you know, we have a job posting for the assistant to the PPS director, Mr. Canino, who's leaving on August 31st. But I ran it by the superintendent-elect today, and she approved it, and I will now get it to Patricia tomorrow so she can look at it and see if she wants to change it at all, the basic job descriptions, and then we'll get that posted.
I'm just sitting here, this little smile on my face. It's like the Dr. Keith Manville Employment Agency. every week we get updates on all the candidates and who's where and here. And before you get to the little school principal, have we officially had? Has Ms. Bodwin officially resigned, or are we still?
She has not.
Okay.
Kathleen and I were talking about that today. Kathleen and Pam met extensively last Friday,
okay.
and she has signed the contract in Manchester, Essex. That's
right.
Done, and I'll just go down and talk to her tomorrow, and I'll get her from her tomorrow.
Because obviously we want to get that process
Yep.
rolling.
Yeah, and actually, Kathleen and I talked a lot about that today, and she will come to you next meeting. She's gonna be here next meeting, and I've offered her the big chair, but she said
She'll sit in
no.
the little chair
Yeah,
next week.
right.
Next meeting, okay.
But she actually is gonna come with the proposed, basically name change of the PPS director, the curriculum director, and Carl's position will stay the same. And it's, if you look at what, for example, Pam does, she's not just the curriculum director. She does the Title IX stuff. She does grant stuff. So she's really the academic